We are live. We are live. We are live. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Hack Shack Studios. I'm Art T. Bear, and this is my channel. This is my life, baby. So I'm coming to you live. Yeah, so this is going to be a lot of fun. We are going to get into it. So did you know? Did you know? That's the question. That's going to be the big question. So I am going to let you know a little bit about myself. I am a 35-year comic book veteran of this wacky industry that we know and love, mainly Marvel DC. I broke away from Marvel a while back to help a fledgling little company with an eye. I think they were called Image. I don't know. They kind of went away. They didn't really do much. They just kind of faded into obscurity, I should say. Oh, wow, you guys jumped in here quick. So cool. We have Kevin. Hey. You guys are ready for the answer, the question, the big question. Hola. And we have Matt. Hey, Matt, how are you? And Justin McClure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the big question is, did you know? Did you know? That's the big question. So did you know? Let me do this. Okay. I'm also going to draw for you guys. I got a commission here too, but I'm going to jump right into the question and answer the big question. And then I'm going to finish up this Red Sonja commission I have here. So, but first, let's answer the question. I click this. I click this, I click this, and then I click this, and then I click this. Did you know I have an Indiegogo? Yeah, that was the big burning question. You guys already knew all this, but I thought I'd have fun with you anyway. So Chrono Mechanics, they do more before the dawn of time than most people do all day. Yes, this is my campaign, and it is going right now. So I believe, yeah, actually, we are the halfway point. So it was a 60-day campaign. We are 30 days into it. We have 146 backers. So if there are people in the chat that are listening, thank you very much for backing. And if you haven't backed, what are you waiting for? Get in here. So Chrono Mechanics at this point in time is a 48-page graphic novel. And during the campaign, we are hoping to get to 60 pages, and we have some stretch goals to help us get there. So if you're new to the game, Chrono Mechanics is a lighthearted action-adventure story. It's got a little bit of sci-fi in there as well. And it asks the question, what if Looney Tunes met H.G. Wells? So, yeah, it's kind of a fun Looney Tunes type sensibility with some time travel thrown into the mix. And I think as far as, because it's kind of a cartoon concept, comic book cartoon concept. So think Simpsons, think Futurama. So it's not quite for the little guys, but little guys can enjoy it as well as big people. As bigger people. So I am working on this book with my wife, Pamela T. Bear, who will be my co-writer on this project. We have Narwhal on colors. We have the great Jeff Eckelberry lettering. He does all of my books. I know you guys. I know there's Eric Weathers, but I've known Jeff for, 15 years. So he also does a lot of Marvel work. I think he's working on Deadpool right now. And he does all of the Cry for Dawn books, the Joseph Linsner Cry for Dawn. So he's well versed in mainstream and independence. So yeah, I already told you guys who I am, 35-year comic book veteran, and Chrono Mechanics is, in its essence, they are time repairmen. A chrono mechanic is a time repairman, and time is literally a big machine. It is so big, it was built in the very fabric of the galaxy, of the cosmos itself. So it's a giant, huge, mechanized clockwork machine, cosmic clockwork machine, and it regulates time, all timelines, and basically keeps keeps sanity in the universe. If we did not have time, then I think all hell would break loose. So it's a very important machine and a very important job to have. So there is a company called Chrono Incorporated who is entrusted in repairing said machine. So they hire diverse individuals throughout time to repair the big machine. So this story focuses on the best of the best, Team 9.2 of Sector 7. So the guy with the blowtorch here with the welding torch is Zin. He's kind of floating up, and he's got kind of this energy that floats around him, or gathers around him when he floats up, so he can hover. And one of the things is he's a little supernatural. He worships the gem, the Trinity gem, and that gives him his power. So the Trinity gem is the me, myself, and I, the three sides. Yes. And so he is worshipped as a deity, but only by lower life forms throughout the galaxy. People that are, a little sharper, not so much. But it's still kind of cool. So then on the left side with the big sledgehammer is Caravaggio, who's loosely based on the Renaissance painter, inventor Caravaggio. So he was pulled from his timeline to help out Chrono Mechanics. And then with a giant wrench is Oot. And Oot is a prehistoric businessman. So he's a real estate guy. So the cave condo, the first condos, you have him to thank, and amenities like heat. So each one of the cave condos is outfitted with its own fire pit and fire. So he likes to think that he invented fire, but that is a question to be answered in another stream or in another story. And the guy in the center with the green guitar, that is Doug. And Doug is a 70s rock god, and he's kind of a slacker. So usually Chrono Incorporated does not recruit from the latter half of the 20th century because they believe that they do not have character. They do not have the dig down it takes to be a chrono mechanic. So why is he here? Why is Doug here? And why is he the new recruit for Team 9.2 of Sector 7? You'll just have to read this epic tale to find out. Also, this is a one and done, guys. So this is not serialized. There will be more Chrono stories if you guys like this book and support it. Then I have some more ideas. But as it is now, it's the 48-page one and done. So here's some interiors. This is Chrono Incorporated. It is a satellite headquarters out in timeless space. So if you work at Chrono Incorporated, you are in a time-free zone, which means you do not age. So every hour you invest at your job, you do not age. So, and then when you go back to your timeline, you pretty much can go back where you left. So all the time you put in here does not take away from your life, I guess. The numbers of days you will be on this earth. So we have Doug. This is Doug's introduction to the bigger world of Chrono Incorporated. This is him meeting the Chrono Mechanics for the first time. He's getting pulled from his 1970s timeline. And you can see the guy in the background is sadly Miguel, sweet Miguel, and he did not make the crash. There was a big crash. The time ship crashed, and Miguel didn't make it. So that's why Doug has been called to duty. He's going to do some duty here. And this is Caravaggio introducing his core self, which is the Renaissance painter. So he was going from his Chrono Mechanics form into his core form, which is, like I said, the Renaissance painter. So this is kind of freaking Doug out. He's a little Alice in Wonderland. He's a little, a guy out of his realm, as they say. So he's trying to get away. He bumps into this giant wall of a human and finds out that it is Oot. And Oot is in his mechanics form, and then he transforms back to his core self. So there's a little Shazam action here. The reason being is to do the job, you need to power up because the job requirements are very, very intense. And you need to be a certain height, a certain strength, certain agility, and certain stamina. So once you power up, then you have all those requirements that Chrono Incorporated needs for a good mechanic. So that's why this is happening. So as you can see too, I wanted to make sure that each one of these characters were unique in size and stature. So it makes a lot of sense for them to power up or suit up to be a Chrono Mechanic. So that's a little superhero-y nod to Shazam, or as I still refer to him, Captain Marvel. And so you can really see the example of Zin as he powers down into his core self. So he's a little squid. I mean, he's really tiny. So he could never turn a wrench. So unless he powered up. So he's calm. He's trying to calm the situation down. And Doug is not having any part in it. So Doug is freaking out and he just wants to go to his timeline. And they're telling him that basically there's a job to do. You have been hired to do manual labor. And he's like, listen, dude, work is a 4-letter word. I do not do manual labor. So there is the setup to probably the greatest comic of all time. At least I like to think it is. So we have the sketchbook, which I'm really, really proud of this. And you guys are ordering a bunch of these. So thank you, because low print runs can be expensive. So the higher we get these orders up, the better pricing I can get on the print run. So I was a little worried about the sketchbook, but you guys are coming through, so I appreciate it. And the sketchbook's going to be a lot of fun. The format's going to be more of a kind of centerfold aspect, like side to, I guess up and down versus side to side. So it'll kind of flip upwards, and you'll read it like a calendar or a centerfold. And so this is going to be fun because it's going to be narrated by the Chrono Elucidator. And the Chrono Elucidator is basically the Chrono Incorporated computer system. So he is a all-knowing computer system, but he likes to think of himself as a human being. So he can manifest into a human-esque hologram. So he can walk, talk, and interact with people. But his real goal, his real desire in life is he just wants to go on a mission. He wants to be a Chrono Mechanic because they're so damn cool. And so he's going to narrate the sketchbook. So he'll go, you know, this is what Art was thinking when he came up with this idea or that idea or whatever. So I think it'll be fun. It'll be unique and a different take on a work in progress sketchbook. So then I'm very, very flattered that these guys wanted to be part of this. But I have variant covers, and I have one by Cheeks Sean Galloway of Oot, which is kick ass. And so then I have Tom Bancroft, who is a Disney animator. His big claim to fame is Mushu in Mulan. He was the key animator and designer for that character. And he did a drawing of Mushu for my daughter. I got to find that somewhere. It's really, really cool. These are great guys. And this is Sean Ellery on colors on this one. And Sean did the colors for the cover as well. So we have the great Aaron Lopresti, who, if you don't know, has a Indiegogo going right now as well, and is called Garbage Man. So check that out as soon as we are done here. And so this is Aaron Lopresti, and this is colored by Perea, who did all the color work on Black and White. The guy's a genius. He's really, really good. And so this one, you guys have seen me working on it in different streams. I should try to finish it up and get it to the colorist just so you can see the progress. But I've been kind of bouncing around with some other things, trying to get caught up. One of the things about wearing many hats is you can't spend too much time on one thing. So you have to take that hat off, put another hat on, and go in a different direction from time to time. Otherwise, the whole machine just stops. So it's pretty much done at this point, and that's the great Carlo Barbieri. And he is probably, you know, I can't single him out. Everybody that's helped me along are really, really cool. But he is just very, you know, I was just like, just send me a breakdown. He's like, no, no, no. So he went from this, which I could ink from no problem, and he did another version that were finished pencils. So he tightened it all up for me, which he did not have to do, but he is just a great guy and didn't want to, I don't know, leave me high and dry. So that was very, very cool. So then we had the poster package, and this is just a unique way to get the covers into your hands if you don't want to go, you know, spend the money for all the variant covers. And these will not have logos on them as well. So the variant covers will have logos on them. So this will be the only way you can get the artwork by Carlo, Sean, Aaron, and Tom is in this tier. And then I have, those are prints, like smaller prints. And then I have full-on posters, which are the Doug World Tour. And then I have the Time to Panic here, which are oversized. They're bigger than 11 by 17. Oh, here's the cool stretch goals. So 20K gets you the button, 23K gets you the cool guitar pick. And this is what excites me. And I'm really hoping that we can get to this point. And 28 gets you 6 more pages. And then 33 gets you 6 additional pages, which is 12 extra pages, which gets us up to 60 pages of story for the same amount of money, you guys. You don't have to pay any extra for this. But once we get the print run up to this point, well, once we get the numbers up to this point, the print run becomes more cost effective, and then I can pay everybody out. And this is like the 30K is the magic number where we can start making things really happen. We can add pages. We can get you the perfect bound, square bound graphic novel format versus the saddle stitch, which it is now. And the way it is now, it's just kind of like a normal comic book format. So this will increase and make it a really cool one-of-a-kind collector's item. And so then the biggie alert is the foil enhancements. And those are going to be really cool. The logo, we're going to have a little pinstripe around it. And we're going to have a cog in the right-hand corner where Pamela and I will do our signature. So it'll have a little designated signature zone on the cover. And then you guys, if this is an incentive, I don't know what is. It's the golden time card equals free doodle. So 1 out of every 10 orders will get the golden time card. They will be put into your book. And so when you get one of these time cards, fill it out, sign your name, send it to me, and absolutely free. I will do a drawing up for you and I will send it to you. No additional shipping, no nothing. So that's kind of Chrono Mechanics in a nutshell. And we have all kinds of cool tiers. And there's one thing I just want to add before I move on to do my drawing is each one of these tiers, except I believe the poster tier, comes with trading cards. So every book comes with a trading card. So the main book comes with a trading card. The sketchbook comes with a trading card. The 4 variants come with 4 different trading cards, one to coincide for each one of the covers. So the cover of Caravaggio will come with a Caravaggio trading card, and so on and so on. There are 10 trading cards total, and the only place you can get all 10 is in the Ultimate Chrono Mechanics tier, because it has all 10. So there are 4 additional cards in this tier that you can't get in any of the other tiers as well. So all the bells and whistles are in the ultimate tier. So thank you guys for letting me go over all of this. Let's go back to our StreamYard. I'm back. I'm back in black. Ooh, and the first thing I saw, bump, 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 bump. Thank you, Sierra Whiskey. I'm going to chug some water while everybody's checking out that. It's not only the greatest comic, but that's the greatest comic book link of all time. Yes, indeed. So let's see what else you guys have going. We have Garrett. Hello, Garrett. How are you, my friend? Sierra, we already know. We have, is that Simon 7? Seminon? I don't know. Hey, good people. How are you? The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42. Yes, one of my favorite novels of all time, Hitchhiker's Guide, which I've had several people when I was pitching this. I had absolutely no idea. I was kind of like riffing off of Hitchhiker's Guide for Chrono Mechanics. So some people are like, it has a very British kind of sense of humor to it. And I'm like, well, thank you. I like all the Monty Python. I like the British humor a lot. And so, so it's very, very cool. And also I'm channeling some of the Europeans with the ink style. So yeah, there's a little style. There's a little pulling from outside sources here. So we have Peter. Hello, Mr. Art, aka Master of the Inks. I like that. I like that a lot. Ooh, I'm gonna have to post this again because it's my favorite link of all time. Oh yeah, you guys, this Sketch is right. This can go anywhere, man. This concept can go anywhere. And also, I say we do have some basic time travel rules, but since this is a funny, over the top comedy adventure, we can also poo-poo those ideas. So I have a working mantra, and it's if it's funny, we're gonna do it. So if we break our own rules and it's funny, then that's what we're gonna do. So don't expect any kind of high science with this, because you're not gonna get it. Yeah, it is tricky business, but that's exactly why I will contradict myself every drop of the hat, because the only way you can kind of do an ongoing time travel is either set up really, really rigid time travel rules and never ever break them, or break every one of the rules that you can think of, which is what I'm going to do. So yeah, I don't want it to be rigid that way. I want it to be a lot of fun. So we have Fugue, Google too. I never want to say it right because I always want to say the F word, which I guess I can say. We're all adults here. Thank you, Sketch. It is going to be a lot of fun. So let me get into, and I hope that the lighting hasn't changed too much, so I can show you what I'm working on. So this is the sketch. Well, I tighten this up. I was going to just start inking this thing this morning, and I realized how stupidly detailed Red Sonja's costume is. So you could see I was winging it on some of the hardware on her belt there, but then with her shoulder pads, that little clavicle, collarbone type of design, and even the gloves are pretty detailed. So I kind of tightened it up a little bit this morning. So I'm going to ink this up. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you. I have a little bit of work in progress here. So let me screen share with you, and we can give you kind of a breakdown. So this is, I might have showed this the other day, but this is what I call a layout or breakdown. So I probably could ink from this, but with all the detail, you can see the shoulder. This is what I was going to ink today, but you can see all of her braid the collarbone little connector between her shoulder pads, and then even her breastplate and her little skirt or whatever the hell that's called isn't exactly drawn in, and even the gloves are a little loosely drawn because I drew the slit on the wrong side on the arm that has the sword there. So I went back and I detailed it up a little bit, added some rendering and things like that. So while I'm here, I went on, what is her name, Mindy Summers show last night. A lot of fun. It's called 22 Questions. So she asked 22 questions of guests. And so one of her, I guess her co-host is Peter Gilmore. And Peter Gilmore drew me up as, I guess, a boomer Kiss fan. So I like that I don't have a shirt on. I think that's one of my favorite parts of this. And that the kiss kind of thing, the makeup is a mess. It's not very tightly drawn, and I'm packing some serious heat here. So, there may be a little bit of a gooner showing, but the package more than makes up for it. So I guess I'm pointing the accusatory finger. Yeah, so you better shape up. I like the boots and everything. So I was really flattered, man. So thank you, Peter. If you're listening, or if you know anybody that knows Peter, tell him thanks from me. I believe he worked or is helping out on the Littlest Umbrella Tug's Indiegogo book. So he's a really good artist as well. So very flattered, man. Thank you so much for doing this, Peter. So back to this. Let me stop sharing. Come back to this, and we have my wife's favorite, Sticky Wicked 447. Yes. So how are you, man? And welcome to the chat. Let me see. Yeah. I think you already get the sensibilities here. Yes. It'll be wibbly wobbly, timey, wimey, wimmy stuff. Yes. Yes, indeedy do. Okay, so let me, we got Rooster Puncher here as well. She looks beautiful. Thank you, and welcome to the chat. Let me get my tools out. I had two nibs I was working with earlier, and I have a bottle of empty ink. So, hey, you want to say hi?
Hi.
Pamela just I
sneaked in. I'm sneaking back out.
she's in and out, man. She's like a ninja.
That's me. All about the stealth.
So let's see which nib will work better. Does that resolution look good, or is it getting dark? This is the time of day where
it looks a little dark.
Yeah.
You can't
see if I do this, look what happens.
Yeah.
If the camera is really, really sensitive, can you do me a favor and maybe open just like, yeah, do that. Yeah, okay, one twist back. There we go. All right.
You good?
Yeah, this camera is very sensitive. Are you taking off already?
Yeah.
You're just teasing.
I just came in to say hi.
You're a teaser.
I'm going to go pack boxes.
Yes. The other day we could hear your the tape from the boxes.
From downstairs?
Yeah, yeah, it was awesome though. But I think everybody liked it because they could hear their black and white orders coming together.
Working on it.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, I had another campaign. It was called Black and White, and it is in fulfillment right now. So Pamela, my co-writer on Chrono and editor of Black and White, is busy putting orders together for you guys. So I believe we got three shipments out this week. So if you guys ordered, keep a lookout in your mailbox. They're packed really good, but I worry a little bit, especially since we're kind of in the winter months, and in some places it's raining. Yeah. So I'm using this kind of paper is slightly different than the usual Bristol board. So it doesn't take the nib as well. So it's a little bit more textured than the usual like DC board or image paper that I use. So, but I'm a professional, man. I can do this. Yeah. So, yeah, thanks to everybody for being so patient with Black and White and sticking with us. It is a situation I will do everything in my power to never, ever get into again. Chrono is going strong right now. I would love to show you a bunch of the pages, but I do not want to spoil it for you. But I just kind of want to show you how far along we are and how great this book is coming along. So at this point, we are well over halfway as far as writing. Well, I shouldn't say writing. The breakdown of the story is all done. But penciling, inking, and coloring, we're over halfway done. And then as far as pencils and inks, I think we're in the 30s, because I'm kind of jumping around, just like I was saying earlier, to make sure everybody has stuff to work on. So I'm going a little bit out of order on some of the Chrono stuff, just so I can keep everybody working. And I am going to bring another page together over the weekend for colors for Narwhal. And I saw Kevin in the chat, and Kevin, I have a layout that I did last night. It's not tight like this. I know I said this is a layout, but it's, maybe I should rephrase, it's a thumbnail and of your commission. And he got a whole British theme going on here. It's Judge Anderson. And you know what? I had no idea how much I really love the Dread stuff when I was researching all the characters and, you know, trying to figure out how her suit works and everything. I was just googling up and re-experiencing all of the Dread mythology. Great stuff, man. That's a great world. Killer designs. I think there's a documentary out of the comic. It's either was just made as a documentary for the comic book, or it came out with the movie. I can't remember, but it gets into detail. Like it interviews all the creative people, and it goes through all the history of Dread and all that cool stuff. And it was really fun to watch. Yeah, so Judge Dredd, I remember when I was a kid, I think they were Eagle Comics. I can't remember. They were basically what do you call those? They were imports. So I think one of the comic shops I went to had them and would order them from, I don't know, like if Diamond or who distributed them, but it was pretty much uh, the British versions of them, and I used to eat that stuff up, man. The Brian Bolland stuff and Simon Bisley, and there's been some really brilliant artists on that. I think lately, is it Jock has been doing some Dread stuff as well, and I believe he worked on the movie, the one with what is that guy's name? He Urban, is it not? Guy, I just can think of the country western Keith Urban, but the guy who played Bones McCoy in the new Star Trek. Depends on how you feel about Star Trek, whether it was good or not. He was in Lord of the Rings. I know somebody at this point has chimed in the chat to help out. Let me put my glasses on. Yeah, Carl Urban. Oh, it is Carl Urban. Who's the country western guy? What is his name? Carl Urban as well? Keith Urban. Is it Keith Urban? I don't know. We have Zebulon Pike in the house. Yeah, 2000 AD. That's it. There's an auto. Yeah, I think this is it then. Yeah, is that the documentary? Yeah, very, very cool. I think as we receive our black and white and share it on social media, it will be an opportunity for people to hear talk about Art's new project, Chrono Mechanics, as well. Thank you so much, Vilnid. I appreciate it. You guys are the freaking best. So we have Title 10 in the house. We got Slick Rick. How are you? Urban is such a fake name. That's funny, man. You always say it just about the time I think it. So great mind, Slick Rick. So yeah, I'm kind of bouncing around here. I'm trying to get my sea legs with the nib and try to warm up a little bit. So I think I just have a few more commissions, and if I can continue with this, I might open my commissions list before Christmas. I'm not sure I'll be able to get the drawings done before Christmas, but I may be opening the list. I also have the black and white sketches that I need to do for the people that ordered a sketch in the black and white tier, the sketch tier. And I'll be bringing those together live on the show as well. It's all transparent, baby. We keep a level of transparency here. I want you to know exactly what's going down. So, man, I'll tell you, if you guys ever try to draw Red Sonja, see this collar thing? There's not one clear version of this thing drawn. Everybody draws it differently. And sometimes, well, a lot of times people don't even draw it. I think it's one of the key character designs, though, so I had to put it in. But a lot of people just put like a necklace on her or something. Cop out. I'm going to thicken up this a little bit. The reason being because it casts a bit of a shadow. And so it'll make it pop from her forehead more. I think I want this line to come out a little bit more. Then the pencil. Yeah, you guys usually see me ink with the brush. You don't get to see me ink with the pen very much. I actually prefer, personally, I prefer inking with a brush. I feel as much as I've worked with a pen, like a nib like this, I still have a love-hate with it. I think it also just depends on the style that I'm inking. It always is a tighter, more controlled tool. And I think that's why I don't care for it as much. But the results are always pretty killer. Yeah, I like the way it looks. So the ends always justify the means. But it's kind of it's a hybrid between like a brush and a pencil, I guess, or a marker pen. So you can kind of do strokes like a brush, but you can also draw with it like a pencil or a pen. So if you notice, like the line weights are heavier here, and they kind of get thinner as they go up. So that's an inker's trick, or at least I don't know if all inkers do that, but it's what I do to weigh things down, to give things weight. I have eraser on this drawing. So yeah, like I said, I'm bouncing around. I usually bounce around until I get comfortable, and then I'll get more literal with it. And like I'll stay in one area. One of the reasons I do it is to warm up, and another is to try to let ink dry in a certain area. So I don't put my hand back in the wet ink, but I can also keep moving so I don't stop. So one of the key things when you're inking is always try to be aware of where the wet ink is, because if you don't, it can end really bad for you. You'll put your hands in the ink, and that's not good. Yes, smudges. So one of the things I like about a nib is you can see how, I don't know if you can see, you can kind of put angles. Wow, it is getting dark in here. Man, I need to start getting into the studio earlier. Let me see if I can open another one of these shades up and start adding some light and seeing if that helps. Yeah, I always say at this time of day, the light Oh, that's kind of too much light. The camera's really, really sensitive. Yeah, if you saw all the gyrations and weird goings on I have to do in here to get, actually this is not any better. It's brighter, but you can't see the detail. Doggone it. Big doggone it. Close this up again. Okay. Crack that open. Yeah, I want to try to get the best image I can for you guys. Otherwise, what's the point, right? Art, it's all in shadow. Art, there's too much light. Yeah, I'm going to have to crack open some books or get some Google tutorials and figure out this lighting thing. Just there's only so many hours in the day. Because if you could see this room, the room is almost black. Like it's really dark in here. Because if I even, let me see. If I bring this in, see what it does? That's just a lamp. So I have to push them away. So I kind of did some artsy fartsy ways to end it here. So I'm going to leave some of these areas and some of the stuff unresolved. Like this glove line will go up to where her hip is to imply that this is part of her leg, but it's not going to be in complete detail. It's kind of a artsy way to resolve something opposed to like a hard edge or, you know, like put a box around something. I do that sometimes, but I find it kind of boring. So this one worked out pretty good. All her gear. Uh-oh, I'm being very quiet. The kiss of death. The streaming kiss of death. And I may do ink wash on this. So there may be some gray tones added. So some of the things I've done is just there's a fine line right here that goes into this shadow here. So this shadow is going to be inked, and then this part of the shadow, I was thinking I might do a gray wash. You can't see, like right in here. So that'll be fun, but it's all going to depend on how quickly I can get this done. Because I want to get this done and start on that Chrono page, get that done so I can get it to Narwhal, and I'm going to start on the Agent Anderson, Judge Anderson commission this weekend. So that'll be fun. I do so much other stuff now that isn't art related that when I get a chance to do this, just draw and ink like this, it's it feels fun again. And also I'm kind of doing more stuff I want to do versus stuff that I have to do. Basically mandate by Marvel or DC, which I don't mind, but sometimes there's things that you have to do because the script says it, or because the pencils are, there, and you just have to follow them. So it's not always stuff you want to do as far as subject matter or whatever. So we got, I think I'm going to leave some of this suggested, some broken lines here on the detail. The original one I saw, was it Frank Thorne? I can't remember who did the original like Marvel version, but this stuff was all like open, like you could see her arm through it, and it's kind of cool. But I think a lot of people since then don't do it, and I it might be because it doesn't feel practical. Like, why would you have shoulder pieces if if a sword hit it, it would go right through. Although, I mean, there's nothing practical about her costume at all, so I just answered my own question there. Yeah. But it's not sexist, because if you've seen Conan's outfit, he has less clothes on than she does. It's the damn patriarchy. I like the patriarchy. I'm making women too damn sexy. Like, there are some sexy ass women out there. Like, they do exist. Yeah, there's some absolutely stunning women out there. So I don't know, man. Get over it. Get over it. Okay, my nib is getting a little chunky. So I've said it before, but when your nib gets chunky, just kind of wipe off. Because what happens is it'll pick up dirt, it'll pick up fibers from the board, and also the ink dries sometimes. So you have to get rid of some of that to continue to have a flow with the nib. It's kind of tricky, and I've said before on this show, if there's any aspiring inkers out there, it also depends on the weather. So if it's really hot out, your ink is going to dry really fast. So you have to keep adding. Don't add water to it. Add more ink. Water will just water it down, and you won't get good coverage that way. So unless you're really, really hard up, add water, but your coverage won't be as good. Your ink won't be as solid. I have done it, but I've never really gotten good results with ink with water in it. Unless that's what you're going for. But this kind of inking, you don't want that. Yeah, so inking tip 101. Ink tips. Man, did you guys watch the Jack show last night? Oh my gosh, I laughed my ass off. That show's getting better and better. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I think it's on Kelsey Shannon's channel, or was last night. And yeah, they were in rare form last night. It was pretty darn funny. I also just think that they captured lightning in a bottle. That group of people, they just riff off of each other so well. It's pretty cool to watch. They showed this guy, these pole vaulters, and there was this one guy, he was pole vaulting, and he let go of the pole vault, and after he went over, you go over the pole that's set this way, but so you have the pole vault, that you're pole vaulting, and then there's a pole this way that you're going over. There's two poles. As he's going over the one, his pole vault, instead of falling this way, it fell like towards him. And when he was coming down, it just impaled him in the butt. It was the funniest, most painful thing I think I've ever seen. And so if you like that kind of jackass kind of humor and stuff, it's a pretty funny show. Most of the time there's heavy drinking involved, at least on the part of Kelsey and Cecil. I don't know if John and Anna are drinkers or not. Not that that's a bad thing. It all depends. It all depends. And we have the Pontificator show tonight. After I get done here, I gotta connect with those guys, make sure we're all on. So that show's picking up some steam. I'm really happy about that. So we usually start, what time is it now? Is it going on 3? I got to get my glasses on. So yeah, we start around 5, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And we usually just talk a subject to death, but it's a lot of fun. And we've had Draken come in a lot lately, and he's pretty good at bringing a new subject to the table. So just about the time we've finished talking the one subject to death, he'll bring up another one. So it's usually a lot of fun, and I think we get to exercise some some demons that and observations that we have about the industry. So it's Todd Mulrooney, Todd DeWolf, Durakin, and Chester Busby. And sometimes we get Zach Bradley in. He likes to, I think, go on Mike's auction. So sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. So it's all good. I think today we're going to talk about like things in our childhood that inspired us to do what we're doing now. I think it's going to be something like that. I'm not sure exactly. That's why I got to touch base. I got to touch base with those guys. Let me see. I'm going into the chat. Cover me. Ooh, we have Lady Celtic Moon. And we have Pablo. Ooh, we got some other names in here. Red Sonja. Hey, wait a minute. We have Philip Steele. The Philip Steele? No way. On them bear claws. White spots on the bear claws. Are you forgetting to take your Flintstone chewables? White on the bear claws. Oh, like these whites. These are scars, dude. These are cat. Yeah, so if I have white specks, if I'm flaked with white, they're scars. I don't know, man, when I was a kid, I was always getting scuffed up and cut. And Red Monica. Is that that's Joe Mad's character, right? The big bosomed gal that's kind of based on Red Sonja. Kind of is. Did you not get a book? So is there still a way to back or purchase Black and White, or just wait until it appears on eBay? You could wait until it appears on eBay, but I have been in talks with my wife, and we're going to work out some details for a possible newsprint version of Black and White. So it'll be saddle stitched. It will be newsprint. So it will be a little bit of a scaled down version of the one that we had just done that has all the bells and whistles. This one here, right here. So with the square bound and the graphic novel format, with the hard cardboard cover and stuff, it won't be that. It'll be more like a comic book. And so we were thinking possibly February of next year, so early next year on that. And we may be reissuing the book I just showed you. Well, not reissuing, but we overprinted. So I think we might have 300 books that we overprinted by. And so we might make them available in that campaign as well. If not, it'll be in the Volume 2 campaign, definitely. So we're still kind of working out the details on that. So thank you for bringing it up, Zebulon Pike. And I get asked that question a lot, which makes me kind of sad that I didn't get books into everybody's hands, but it makes me feel good at the same time that there's still a demand. And so that's pretty cool. We have Central. Is that Central Scrutinizer? Who cares about practical costume designs? It's a comic book. The obsession with practicality is hurting comics. I agree, man. Who gives a shit about reality, right? If I'm going to read a comic book, I don't want reality. If I want reality, I'll watch the news or read a newspaper. I want escapism. Yep. So we have Pablo Romero art. Hello. Looks like the shoulder pieces are holding up her bra. Yeah, I think that's how it works. Some people do it in various different ways, but I think the collar piece, the shoulder pieces, and her breastplates, they all connect. I believe I can fly. Lady Celtic Moon. So who are you, Darwin? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Art is drawn. Red Sonja. Yes, art is. Inking tip 101. Hire art to ink your work. That's funny. I wish I could do more work, man. We got Slick Rick. Pencil tight, ink loose. Yes. Someone's paying attention. Yes, that's what Frank Rosetta told me. Yes, I did. Oh, we have albino. I think he colored something. Was it a Green Lantern piece or something? You had a bunch of feedback on Twitter, and I believe I threw my 2 cents in on your piece. So that was very nice. There's a lot of aspiring artists out there, which is very, very cool. What is this? Wilberforce, Worcester. Good to see Kelsey back being Kelsey. Was he not Kelsey for a while? I know, wasn't he like Kenny or something? I don't know what really was going on there. Oh, did you see that? That pole vaulter was unfortunate. Yeah, but it was funny as all get out. It was it was pretty darn hilarious. Oh, okay. So Anna drinks tequila usually. Not sure about Malin. I don't think he's a big drinker. Yeah, he'll just partake in the herb. Right on. Thanks, Art. Oh, we have Adam. Oh, I think this is. Oh my gosh, there's a Judge Dredd there too. Are you from Britain as well? Sweet Mama Jamma. I think this is your commission, right, Adam? So I'll do a little zoom up, but I'll take your name down. I believe this is Adam's commission. I was talking to Adam last night on Facebook. I said, you got to come in and sub. And he's like, I'm already subbed, man. Stop hassling me. Stop with the hassle. Thank you, man. And thanks for hiring me to do this for you. I mucho appreciate it. And you guys, I'm going to do an Oodles of Doodles Volume 2. So a lot of these drawings that I'm doing for you guys right now will most likely end up in that book. So I think I have at least 2/3 of an art book, if not more, worth of work. So I just need to compile it up. I'm going to use the same layout. So they look like companion books. So it'll look like it's supposed to fit right into the original Oodles. And what I would like to do is I'll grab the Oodles book. I have one over here. Let me finish this up. Get some thickness in there. All right, you guys talk amongst yourself. It'll only take me a minute. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the Oodles book. So this is volume 1. So I only have a handful of these left as far as the print run is concerned. And so it's a pretty nice oversized coffee table book that has a lot of drawings from the past 35 years. So there's commissions, covers, all kinds of stuff in here. There's, let me see. Yeah, there's commissions. Let me see. There's covers in here as well. Oh, here's a cover. So this is, what's her name? Sheena. And so then there's some working drawings, like cover layouts and things like that. So I am going to do a volume 2 of that book. And so some of these commissions that I'm taking right now, like this Red Sonja, will most likely end up in that book. So if you guys commission me between now and then, most likely your image will end up in that book. So I think that's a lot of fun, that you can see them being drawn, and then you can have them in an art book as well. So I think that's kind of a fun little advantage to all this YouTube stuff and interacting directly with you guys and all that. So I'm trying to create as much interactive fun as I can, and take advantage of this cool technology that we have as a way to connect and do cool stuff. And what I was thinking is that cover has white on it. So I was going to do, possibly, these are just ideas, you guys, of black, the character Black from Black and White, and use the same background as that and make it to where it looks like it could. Let me see if I can illustrate it better by showing you. Like, whichever looks the best, like over here would probably be best, that there would be another piece of artwork that would connect with this background. So if you looked at it, it would just look like one big piece of artwork, but they would be companion pieces. So volume 1 would be white, and then volume 2 would be black. It would be, I don't know, it might be strange if he's on this side, but her back, I don't know, I'll figure it out compositionally. I think he would look better if he was here, though, compositionally. And then that would be volume 2, so it'd be black and white, so it would read better, although it would be volume 2 and volume 1. But the cover layout would be a lot the same. Well, it'd probably be exactly the same, but it would have black, and then it would be, the background and everything would be exactly like this. Well, not, it would be like the same background, but just continued over here. So there'd be robots, and basically it looked like they just slaughtered a bunch of these robots. And then I don't usually show this, but that's the dust cover. And then here, this is all UV. This looks so amazing. So the background's kind of flat, and then she white, and the robots in the foreground and the logo are UV coated, so they're shiny. And I like this because it doesn't hide the robots. Like this cover hides the robots, but this one you can actually see them, because I spent a lot of damn time on those things. And I got a forward here by Kevin Nolan. So I'm going to basically try to do a similar style book, and I want to get Tag back on to do the design work, and put the book together if she's willing, and then compile that up and possibly do that right after the black and white newsprint version in February. So there's a lot of stuff planned, and I've been working more in my spare time trying to come up with get the black and white story down. I want it completely written, like panel 1, panel 2. I didn't do that on the volume 1. So this time out, I mean, we kind of did, but it wasn't, it was just kind of like an overview. It wasn't, panel 1, panel 2. So I want to do black and white volume 2 more like that. So when I sit down to draw, I'll just be drawing. I won't be worried about trying to craft a story and all that other stuff. I'll just be focused on one thing. So I'm trying to figure out a system where I can work faster for you guys and get you more content and more stories. Because I think when I did the original black and white, it was more of an experiment. So I didn't really know what this market was going to be, and I didn't really know how to maneuver through it. So I think I was just being maybe a little too casual about it. Just kind of had a wait and see kind of attitude. And then, the reality, comes that you do very well. It was a very successful campaign, and now the reality is, there are other people involved. You got to work faster. You got to keep your word. You got to do all those things. Not that I ever intended on not keeping my word, but I think I was pretty naive in the way that it was all going to come together and the way my time was going to be used or utilized. So there's been a lot of learning over the past year and trying to figure out how these things work. So it's been interesting for somebody like me that's been doing it for a long time. It can be a little nerve-wracking, but it's also exhilarating and fun at the same time, because it's not the same old, it's every day is a unique set of circumstances and things to do. And I like that. Keeps me on my toes. So I'm going to check. It looks like it's getting very dark in here. I'm going to check my lighting again. Man, the pencil looks really light. I'm obsessing. Hey, we got James GSR. That book is one of my prized possessions. Oh, thank you so much, man. Thank you. And thank you for ordering the book. Yeah, we will get you more of the same. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I believe we have quite a bit of artwork that is already ready for that volume 2 of the Oodles book. Kevin's got 3 of them. One's a reading copy, one stays on the coffee table, and one goes in a bag in your collection. Unless you're getting them for friends. Hey, we have Durakin. So lots of stuff is launching February, or going to try to anyways. Yeah, I think February is the next big month. As far as crowdfunding months are concerned. Yeah, there was a little Chronos preview page in there, so that was very cool. So we got Adam's on board with volume 2. Super cool. Oh yeah, thank you so much, jalapeno milk. Thank you. Yeah, hit the like button and tweet this out. Let everybody know that I'm doing some live doodling here. Oodles of doodles and other stuff as well. What is this? Is Indie the future? Comicsgate? Both? Neither? This is a loaded question, so I'm going to try to do it really quickly. Garrett Townsend. I think all. Yeah. I don't think... it's all the above, so I guess both. So there's a lot of people that are taking the CG template and using it, but not necessarily associating with Comicsgate, or not officially, I guess, maybe is the better word for it. And Yeah, I don't really mind either way. I think as long as the consumer wins, the consumer gets good product, and we can all conduct ourselves like gentlemen, I think it'll be fine. Because I think that success breeds success. So the more people that come in, the more success we can get, the better. That's why I'll promote pretty much anybody and give a shout out, just because the hopes are always that somebody will do that for me. So it's kind of pay it forward, and I think there are people that are doing that are even non-Comicsgate people are sharing their platforms and using the same idea, which is pretty cool. Oh, this chainmail. It's crazy. Yeah, I know Mike Miller likes drawing all this stuff. I do not. All this stuff is it's nerve-wracking. Some people, I think Mike is probably one of those guys that can see patterns and can replicate the patterns easy, even as the patterns turn and go into deep space. So it turns with the form. Mike can do that pretty easy, or at least he makes it look easy. I don't know how easy it really is for him. But that's Mike's skill. That's his gift. So one thing when you draw gloves, you kind of got to bulk up the hand a little bit. The hard part is with a woman's hand, you don't want to thicken it up too much, because then it can lose the feminine aspects to it. I'm going to have to move this light in because I can't see this eye very well. Get a little quiet when you're doing the details. I'm going to go back into the hair. Man, I'm just bouncing all over the place. You guys are like, stop. Just do one area. I want to see something finished. It's not my way. It's not my way. I wonder if it's part of it's just I get bored easy. So we got this. Bring this around. Starting to come together. Bring a little weight. I'm going to bring some more weight to this. So while I'm waiting for the ink to dry up there. I'll do some of the lower stuff. I'm going to do like just a hint of this piping trim on her glove. So don't, if you do it too solid, it looks weird. It looks structural. So you got to kind of bust it up a little bit and definitely go thinner on it, because then it doesn't compete as much. And this was one of the first lines I put down. And so, like I always say, don't be afraid to go back in on something that you've inked already and thicken it up. Because inking is all about kind of the rhythm and balance of everything. So the line weights and the flow. So see how I'm kind of going back on some of the stuff, just because I can see that there's weight here, but there wasn't down here. And I might even add a couple extra strands here and more weight. One of the other things that you can do to show weight with hair is keep it relatively simple where the light's hitting on top, and then kind of busy it up as it goes down. It kind of implies like a shadow. So and this, I don't want a solid black. So I'm kind of fading it in. So I'm starting to get into some shading, some shadowing. My structure work is almost done. And so I'm going to thicken this up a little bit more as well, just to keep that rhythm and balance going. So these little details on her armor. Like I said, I don't want them too solid, because I don't want them to look too structured, kind of like the piping and stuff I was doing here, and that I will do here as well. My nib is kind of dirty, so the line is not as thin as I want it to be. So I'm going to clean off my nib here. Oh shoot, I didn't move the light back. Here we go. Back into the glove. Much better. So then it's going to connect into this piping here. Little trim. I'm going to hint at a little fold here. You don't want to get too heavy into the folds or the detail. At least not yet. This piece isn't fully penciled either. So some of it, I'm kind of finishing up as I go along. Yeah, so it's coming along. She's drawn her weapon. Her weapon. Hair is just about done. Got a couple wisps. I thought it would be fun to show all of the hair going in the same direction. Kind of flying off to the side there. I think I'm going to work this a little different. I'm going to bring it out further. Much better. And then this one is going more up. You never want two things doing the same, like moving in the same direction or the same angle. This is my little tip. I used to work a lot, kind of like hanging out with you guys. I used to hang out with Capullo in the day, and so he's always been the master penciler. This is when he first started on Spawn, and I inked his first image work on Spawn, and so we hung out quite a bit, and so I would kind of give him ink tips, and he'd give me pencil tips, and we used to go back and forth using a fax machine. That's pretty nutty. And one thing I remember that he taught me, and he said, never have two things going in the same direction. Like the key to making things interesting is, let's see if I can do this. Like you could have a hand like this, and that's not that interesting. Straight wrist, everything. Like even my elbow straight. He said, as soon as you do this and do this, it becomes interesting. Or this. Bend the wrist. This type stuff is pretty boring when things are uniform. So always try to make things move independent as much as you can. Women's hands are a little bit different. Usually, if you draw too much detail, like what was the old rule? I forget the old rule. You would connect some women's fingers to make them look feminine because you didn't want it. And also one of the things I think with women is you didn't draw this joint here. You just drew it from here to here. So it would just bend like this. It wouldn't bend here. So there were certain like rules to make feminine hands. And also if you want to make a woman very feminine, bend the wrists out. Bend the wrists out. Back out. It always looks good. And then, he said bend at the elbow, bend at the wrist, like wherever the joints are, kind of have them really bent. Because nothing's more boring than just something that's all lined up, elbow, wrist, fingers, everything. So that goes for hair, that goes for just about everything. The more different directions you can go with the same kind of unity, though it still has to have unity within the piece, but the more you can do that, the more interesting and the more movement you can get to your artwork. So I've never forgotten that. There are still people that are really good artists, but they kind of make things very stagnant and very stiff. Not like that, but like this type of thing. I think if you use a lot of photographs, I like using photographs, to be honest, but I'm never beholden to them. Like this drawing right here was based on a photograph, but it doesn't really look anything like the photograph, to be honest. Just some of the basic mechanics I used. So when I can, I try to use photographs. the only thing about photographs is it takes time to find them, and you're not always going to get exactly what you need. So that's where you have to learn to interpret them and use aspects of them. But just like an animator, like the old Disney animators and stuff, they kind of used models, and they would film like live action, actors playing out the scenes, but they wouldn't necessarily use that footage, like just trace it or whatever. But by watching it and seeing the actor move, they could kind of get a sense of what they have to do, what they have to draw, and how they have to do it. So I think that's kind of how I use photographs. I think if I had, in a perfect world, I'm gonna have to move the light in. If I had more time and money, I would probably, use an actor for my characters. Some people are lucky; they have like bodybuilding friends or like friends that they can use, and then they can draw pretty much their friends. And in the old days, I used to do that, but I'm kind of isolated here, and most of my friends are all older now. We're all out of shape. That's funny. I hadn't thought about that in a while. Yeah, so if you have a good friend that's in shape, man, and you're an artist, and that guy will pose for you, it's a good thing. I had a friend that was an actor, and so, and this is when, we're going to local college and stuff. So I could kind of go there, and actors are just, they're ham. So if they can get photographed or be part of something, they're into it. So I would ask those guys if they would come and pose to be in the comic books or whatever. So that was pretty cool in the day. I used a lot of photographs, and in those days, photographs were actually expensive. You had to develop them, and if you had a Polaroid like I did, the Polaroid film would instantly develop, but I think it was like 50 cents or $1 per photo. It was really expensive. So I kind of broke myself of that pretty early on. It's just not cost effective with what comic books pays, with how much you were spending on film. She's back. What's up?
Oh, I just want to know if you'd sign something.
Sign what?
An ash can.
Live? Ooh, this is the vintage. I see your signature already on here.
Yep.
It's right there.
Right there.
Very cool.
Thank you.
So that's going out?
Yep.
So if somebody ordered one of them,
yep,
they're going to get one soon?
Yep.
Sweet.
I know, right?
Sweet Mama Jamma. So things are happening here. Are you going to get stuff out tomorrow, or it's going to have to wait till Monday?
It'll have to wait till Monday. But I can box them up.
Get them ready for Monday. So yeah, ideally that's how I would like to work with photographs. Get these belt details in.
You aren't talking.
I know, I'm concentrating.
Oh, come on. That should be second nature.
What?
Zip. You're the inking. Zip, zop, zip, zop.
Zip zop, zip zop. Is that a technical term?
Yes. Just like kaflooey.
Kaflooey is a technical term. So I have Adam, unless he's bailed, unless he got bored, and he's the one I'm doing this drawing for. So he's in the chat here.
Oh, Australia, right?
Oh, is it Australia? I don't know, because he has a Judge Dredd as his icon or whatever. So I thought he might have been British.
Yeah, there is someone, I thought it was Australia that his goes to.
Yes. I think I used to know this because I kind of studied animation. It's 2 frames per second, right? So you can have 2 frames that are the same. So it's like every 3rd or 4th frame is different. So I believe you're right there. We have Nathan. I'm just going to click on this site unseen. I was lucky enough to have a friend who was a professional MMA fighter. There you go. Who was willing to pose for me. I just took every photo I could possibly think of. Yeah, and then you can inventory them. They used to, like, illustrators call that a morgue. Like, they keep a morgue file of old photographs and stuff like that. So what is this? Skull Diamond 94. Hey, y'all. So welcome to the chat, Skull Diamond. We got some new faces in here. Yeah, it is different. One thing that bugs me is when people equate photo referencing with tracing. They are 2 completely different things. Yeah. I agree. There is one thing that I will trace, and I don't mind, is if it's a car or something very technical, a machine or a car, especially if I have to do it more than once in a page. So I'll try to find reference, and I'll go with that. When I did Time Masters, I could pick the cars and stuff for the characters. So there was a guy that lived down the street when I lived in Huntington Beach. He had those old school Porsches, kind of like the one that what's his name had in Highlander, those convertible Porsches. I think they were kind of more VW than Porsche.
No, that was the 941.
940. Those were the boxier ones, right? No, this was the rounded one. The like, God, I don't know what decade that was from, but yeah, there was a guy on the street that owned one. So I went out there and I just took pictures from every conceivable angle I could, and then I kept those. And that Bentley, right, for black and white.
Mm-hmm. That was here.
That was here at it was a detailing like car wash place, right? And I asked the owner, I said, could I go in there and take pictures? So I took interior pictures, just everything I could possibly think of. I still wish I would have taken more. But now with the internet, if you know the vehicle and the year and everything, you can pretty much find anything you need from multiple angles. There's no excuse now for artists to fake it, because there's so much reference out there. Figs matter. Welcome to the chat. Wow, that looks nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. And this is Adam. He says he's from Australia. Australian,
Okay.
British, kind of the same thing. Not really, but I think I went British because you have the Judge Dredd as
There's
your
also,
image.
what is his last name? Does it up? Yeah, there's also another Tomlin that is getting a sketch from you who also lives in Australia.
Is it Kevin? No.
I forget. No, it's not Tom Set. No.
Oh, that's Tom Set.
That's England. No, it's another.
Oh, okay.
And I forget though what character they're getting.
Weird coincidence, or
A Kawinky
maybe not.
Dink.
Maybe not.
I like Kawinky Dinks.
Okay, I think, are we caught up? I didn't go back too far. Yeah. Archie Bear is the Twitter group for Pontificators still there. Yes. It disappeared on you. Wait a minute. Okay, it's going on 4. I'm going to wrap this up soon. I wanted to get this all structured up for you guys, though. So I'll probably do the chainmail and some of the details on the hand and the sword before I go. But I got to check into that. Caesar says, is it Lily Tomlin? I don't know, but that's an oldie but goodie. What was?
Oh no, Adam says his brother is getting one.
Oh, cool. Can you remember the character? Wait.
No, I don't. I can run down and look, but no, I don't.
I have a list. I didn't write the last names though. Is it Troy?
Yes, I think that's it. Troy.
Okay, because Troy, I have. If that's the Rogue Savage Land, I've posted that around. So his sketch is done, or the layout. Yeah. So, oh, very cool, man. It's a small world, isn't it? It's a tiny little world, and the internet is making it even tinier. What was Lily Tomlin? What was that show where she was like a little girl in a big giant rocking chair, and she'd be licking a giant lollipop or whatever?
Oh, didn't she do Hee Haw?
I don't think it was Hee Haw.
Laughing. Yeah.
Yeah, weird.
And then isn't she also the same one that would do the ugly old lady sitting on a bench and this old man would come up and he'd
pervert, and she'd whack him with.
She'd whack him with her purse.
Like she was just that hot. That guy was kind of a perv though. Because he like, hey, how you doing? Right? And he's sitting next to her on the bench. Hey.
I forget how he did it. I mean, we're talking a bazillion years ago.
She had like her hair was in a hairnet or something.
With the big thing right in the middle of her forehead.
Looked like a spider.
Yeah.
Wow.
The funniest person though ever to me is Gilda Radner.
Yeah, Gilda Radner kind of took that and ran with it because it's the same, I think, type, and she'd get into characters like that.
Yeah, but when she would do Rosanna Dana, I mean, she was hysterical. She would get that look on her face of being so confused and innocent, and then she'd go on there and she'd go, I want to talk about endangered feces. You know?
No, that wasn't Rosanna Dana. That was she played an old lady and she'd go on the news. Rosanna Dana was the one like, hey, when she'd be chewing the gum and she had the hair out to here. Remember? That was Rosanna Dana.
But she would talk about she would do the silly things.
I thought that maybe there was an older, like she played an older lady too.
She may have, but I think this was the Rosanna character. And then she'd go into this whole thing, and then the other guy would look at her and he goes, you stupid person, that's endangered species. And then she'd get that cute little look and she'd go, well, never mind.
Never mind. It's Chevy Chase, huh? He like,
Yes.
he's like, oh, you're talking about endangered species.
Species. Never mind. Why would anyone want to save their feces? You know, she was hysterical. I just think she's one of the funniest women ever.
It was crazy, like that she married, was it Gene Wilder, right? You
Yeah.
talk about like almost like a perfect coupling of two like nutty comedic geniuses.
They must have laughed all the time at their house.
I would hope so.
All right. Well, I'm cleaning up my mess and I've bugged you long enough.
Take your feces and species and get the heck out of my studio. Stinking up the place with your feces. Never mind.
Never mind. Oh.
I think she played a hunchback. Like she's like kind of a hunched over old lady. I wish I was better at like looking this stuff up. Maybe somebody in the chat will help. Never mind. Doctor's always wanting to look. Okay, Caesar. Okay, what are we doing here? I think I don't think anybody really chimed in with the SNL skit. Years ago, customer service training video. We use that's this is Lee Tomlin.
Well,
Saving feces
yeah.
is very important.
Ask the doctors. Always wanting to look at it.
Ask the doctor.
Look at Caesar.
God.
For possible flinging.
Oh no! Never snacking. Never ever snacking. Dogs eat their own. Well, sometimes so do cats, right?
Not as often. They say it's something
in their diet.
In their diet, yeah. And does anybody remember the old show Fridays?
Yeah, I do, because it was here. It was on the West Coast.
I thought one of the funniest, and you couldn't do it today, but they were, it was a bunch of Muppets and people, it was a big shop on Rodeo Drive, and they would send people out, you know how they kill seals for people to wear? Well, this was Muppets. And you would see these people on the beach clubbing Muppets. And then they would put them in the window and people were wearing Muppets. I thought that was hysterical. I am so warped.
They were clubbing Muppets and wearing them as clothing.
Yes, they were clubbing Muppets, and they'd hide, you know, like behind a rock or a piece of driftwood, and then you'd see a Muppet pop up and they'd run over and club it to death. I just have a warped sense of humor.
Oh, the days when funny was funny.
Yeah, because it meant nothing, but it was funny.
Well, nowadays somebody would defend like a Muppet, like it's not even a real thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you defending?
Yeah.
A hand puppet?
A piece of material?
That is wrong.
Well, since I have shown my my warped and sick sense of humor, I'm leaving.
You've shared. Everybody's going to harshly judge you now.
I know.
Your wife is sick, Art. She is sick and wrong. What are you looking at, the collateral damage that you left?
Oh, I was reading Junkyard Done.
What does he say?
I don't know how to bring it up or anything.
Just click on it. Did it go up?
Yeah. He says, when I first got out here to Japan 15 years ago, we had a customer service training video we used that starred Lily Tomlin.
Well, that's cool.
It must have been awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of, like, you find out there's a lot of like bands and even like rich people, like actors or something, where rich people hire them to do stuff, like go to parties and play at their kids like Sweet 16 or whatever, like hire Van Halen or somebody like that.
Oh, it's funny. You guys must have been talking about tracing and inking, because Simon Kiesler.
Oh, the Tracing Amy thing.
I keep thinking of the scene from Chasing Amy. Yeah. You're an inker, so you trace what he draws?
Sort of. That's an oversimplification, but yes.
It's not, you don't trace things. You bring life, and it's nothing like tracing. You have to understand art to be able to ink.
Yeah, there's interpretive stuff. There's a lot more to it than there seems. But I guess to the layman, they're just like, oh, you just cover lines, right? Thanks.
You mean Kevin Smith?
The layman Kevin Smith. Oh, I got Kevin Smith stories. All right, here's what I was telling you about, going in and building stuff back up. So I want this side of her to be a little thicker. I gotta do a good job, because actually Adam is watching. Adam is out there and he's watching. What else? Oh, I said I was going to ink her mail. So see if I can get this in quickly. Get the hand with the sword, maybe a little bit more on the face. And then I will bid you adieu. Adieu. So I really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. It makes it a little less ronery in the studio. Was that racially insensitive? It's from a movie. I didn't make it up. So I think on these, I don't want to connect lines too. Once I get this further developed, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because a lot of things follow the same rules. So if you connect the stuff up too much, it starts looking too structural. So if you break the line and you don't complete the line on every one of these, they end up looking better. And as I go down, I am going to start connecting them up a little bit more, and I'm going to put a little bit of a shadow under them. And what that should do is start pushing them back into deep space. And it's kind of the same thing like with the line weights that I was showing you, with putting a couple more extra wisps of hair in places that are like under things to show depth. And this is kind of a similar idea. So once I get this in, I'll give you a close-up and then you'll get a better idea what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. So you can kind of see, oh, we still have Simon up, how the lines kind of aren't connected in here, but they're getting more solid as they go down. And I can even add a little bit more shadow on the bottoms of some of these to show that they're diminishing and that a shadow or light isn't really hitting in that area. So there's that one. And then let's do this one. Keep the broken lines on the ones that are kind of hitting the light and start connecting them up better as you move down, and then making the line thicker. So these ones I'll start connecting up as they hit the bottom. And always, when you're doing this, make sure that this side overlaps in this direction. That's part of the interpretation. If you don't, then it won't look like this piece of metal overlaps this piece of metal and they diminish as they go around. So there is some interpretation that has to happen. So you kind of have to understand how some of these things work in life so you can make it more convincing in the ink. Because sometimes these lines are very subtle and you really don't know which direction they're going into. So it's up to the inker to decide. And if you don't understand it, then you could just kind of turn the line the wrong way and kind of destroy the whole effect. And one of the best things is if there's any artists or inkers out there, always just look at life and see how things work. You know, see how, like, you go to the Renaissance Fair and there's all this chain mail or whatever, and kind of look and see how it works. And then when you're inking or penciling, you'll kind of have a better understanding of how it is and how it works. And then you can be more convincing when you either ink it or pencil it. And those are very important because everything we do is an illusion. None of this stuff is real. So the more convincing you can make this, the better. So always think about that when you're just out and about Just observe, see how things look, see how things move. Because basically, I mean, you don't have to go to school to learn to draw. Everything you need is in life. Like if you just observe and pay attention to stuff, it's all there. Yeah, I realize I have one deficit as far as an artist, and I've seen artists excel beyond me, and I figured it out. Like there are some guys that have damn near photographic memories, and if you have that skill, you are going to go far as an artist, because you can observe and retain, you can remember, and then you can recall. I've met some people that way, and it's mind-boggling. So when you see some of these guys that are almost supernatural, some of it is like over and over, training and stuff like that, but some of it is that they can observe and retain it. For whatever reason, I don't have a real strong memory. So sometimes I feel like I'm making it up for the first time every day. I come and start working. But there are people that can just they can look at the Statue of Liberty one time, and then they can sit down in their studio and then they can draw it. And that boggles my mind. So I used to hold myself up to those standards, like, oh, why can't I do that? And I don't think that's a developed skill. I think people just have that. Like that's an innate ability. At least I choose to, just to make myself feel better. Okay, so I have a few more things I want to get in before I end this. I need more light though. So the eyes are a little bit more shaped in there. Wow, it's kind of dark. See, it's either like dark or just blasted out of like the light. Hold on, I'm going to do one last alteration with the light so I can give you the best resolution, because it is getting darker here. Oh, geez Louise. Can't do that. Let's see this one here. Yeah, that's about the best it's going to get for right now. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it is the Savage Land. I can find that before I leave, if you haven't seen it yet. I think it's up on my social media as well. Saving feces. Oh, you guys. Oh, that one ringy dingy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know what, Junkyard Done? You don't look that old. How do you know this stuff? One ringy dingy. Dogs enjoy the cat poop, especially when it's covered with crunchy cat litter batter. Oh my gosh. Oh, we have Dillard draws. We have Jam Creates too. We got a couple new. I thought you were just doing your Scooby-Doo impression. Ruby Rocky. Rooney. In all seriousness, I would love to see a full-on tutorial of drawing hair. Yeah, stay tuned. Eventually, I'll probably cover everything and give you every secret I have. And then maybe somebody could edit it all together as one, complete video. Your drawing is so far away, I can't see anything you're referring to. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I could zoom the camera in, but the problem is sometimes you can't, like if I move it, it'll be completely out of camera range. So that's why I have it set this far away. So what I do try to is do these close-ups every once in a while, Dillard, so you guys can see them. Yeah, it's not a perfect science. However, it is something that I am working towards. I do want to do a lot more drawing streams. So most of it's lighting. And I think I just need to hang out with somebody that understands how to do it. Because I adjust it as much as I can with the limited understanding that I have, but there's got to be some other way. There's also kind of a blue tint to things, and when I mess with the saturation, it just goes gray versus getting rid of the blue. So I have no idea what's going on. So I do appreciate your patience, but these are things that I'm working towards remedying. So there's that. Should we call this? I think Adam was saying something about Savage Land. Let me see if I can find it here. Talk amongst yourselves. See if I can get it. 1 clicky dicky, 2 clicky dickies, 3 clicky dickies. Okay, where are you? Where are you? There you are. And so this would be, okay, where are you? Oh, is this it? Open. Open says me. Yes, I found it. Okay, so I think my last is going to be show Adam. I think, let me find out, his brother's name is Troy. So I'm going to show Troy, I'm going to show Adam Troy's commission here, at least the sketch of it. So I click here on screen share, boop, 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 and boop. So this is the Savage Land Rogue. So you got to tell your brother, man, this is way more than a bust. Actually, yours is way more than a bust too, Adam, but I got a little carried away. So no harm, no foul, but this is pretty much, I mean, with the exception of the rest of her legs, a full-on figure, but it's going to be drawn on the 9x12 paper. So it's going to be on the smaller paper like the Red Sonja one I did. So I usually end up giving a lot more in these commissions. Because if you didn't tune in early, Adam, I believe I'm going to do some limited wash, some ink wash on this piece as well. So there you go. I'm back for the attack. So we're at 4. I got an hour or so to connect with my pontificator buddies. Hey, we got Comic Book Bob in here. Like and share. Have a good stream, Art. Thank you so much, Comic Book Bob. I appreciate it. Yes, so please like and share. Yeah, desaturation makes things gray. You're looking for color balance. I know, I got it up as far as I can, the color balance. So like you can see my skin tones, I assume look good. So the color is okay. I was just trying to get rid of the blue. So I don't know why there's always this blue. It's kind of my signature now though. Ooh, there you go. New Malin after midnight. I think I tweeted that out too. So yeah, go check out John's. So I hope it's at midnight and it doesn't compete with Pontificators. Because that's going to be weird, man. I'm putting you guys in a dilemma. Who do I watch? Just bounce back and forth. All right, we have Pablo Romero art. Excellent drawing. Thank you. We have what is that? Metron's Cube. Wonderful. So I believe I'm going to do my last little shout out for Chrono. I'll give you the wonderful drawing to check out. I should have this done for you, Adam, by night's end. It's pretty much done now. It's just a little bit of chainmail. I got I think I'm gonna kind of, this is a little too much detail on the abs. I think I'm gonna simplify some of that and work out the background details, the sword, and I'll be done. So probably about an hour. If I could totally focus, I can get this done in an hour. So I'll have that, and I'm going to be working on my Judge Anderson over the weekend. And I want to show you the layout for the Chrono Mechanics page. So bad. It's getting good, you guys. The story's getting good. So I'm going to finish that up over the weekend as well and get that out to Narwhal so he has a new page to color. So Chrono is coming together. We're moving forward on that. Like I said, actually, let me see it. Get an actual page count because I think we got 18 and 19, got layouts. Those are with render. So this is 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27. So up to 29, those pages are with Narwhal. And so that's over half the book already that's colored or just about to be finished coloring on. And and I believe Render has 3 pages that he's going to bring together, and I'll be inking those in a live stream. And I think I have 2 pages that are close to being done, and then that 3rd page that I'll have done tomorrow for Narwhal. So it's all coming together. So what would that be for me? That would be 29, 30, 31, 32. Yeah, so we're around 31, 32 pages into Chrono Mechanics. So it is already closing in on getting finished, you guys. So it's it will come out on time, and it possibly will go into fulfillment early. So if you're a little nervous about it, please don't be. I know Black and White was a little bit of a challenge getting it out, but that is in fulfillment right now. I can hear the tape ripping. My wife's downstairs putting boxes together for you guys. And we're going to ship out another batch of books Monday, she said. So Black and White will be going, another bundle will be going out Monday. And I believe we got 3 bundles out, 3 shipments, different shipments out this week. So those are on their way to get to you guys as well. And one of the things, my wife is not favoring domestic. She's not favoring tiers. She's mixing and matching all of this stuff because we have an advance shipment that I paid $400 and something to get shipped here early, just so we could fulfill Black and White for you guys and start getting things out. The bigger shipment comes the beginning of next month. But in the meantime, she's trying to, do different tiers. Like if you ordered a black and white book and the ash can, or the black and white book and the oodles book, or whatever different combination there is, she's trying to get those out. And also she's not favoring just the States. She's getting stuff out to the foreign investors and backers as well. So we're trying to make it we're just trying to get as much of the stuff out to all the different places as we can. I'm sure once we get the main shipment in, that it'll become more focused, like all the ash cans or all just the books and stuff like that, just because we'll have, all the books to pull from, but or like a full stock of books and everything to pull from. But at this point, she's really trying to make it fair and get as many of these different tiers out to as many different places as possible. So we're always trying to be as cool as and as transparent with you guys as possible. Blue like Terminator 2. Yeah, like that. What's that, desaturation, or what is that blue? I forget what they call it. Kind of like Minority Report. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't have any examples right now to show you, but it'll be pretty limited, but it'll add an extra dimension to it. And like I said, like these little lines here, I'm just going to suggest some shadows, but then I'm going to fill those in with the ink wash and stuff. So this thing's going to look pretty killer once I get all the bells and whistles done. So we have James GSR, whose channel is Pontificators on. It is on this channel, so you don't have too far to go. So it's on I guess this is the Art Bear channel. I don't have a fancy name for it. Maybe I got to look into that. So very good, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. It makes the time go faster. Had a lot of fun with you. Thank you so much, Adam, for hanging out. I think this is as close to a con experience as a lot of people are going to get, especially people that don't live here in the States. And I used to do a lot more shows a couple years back, but with YouTube and these crowdfund, I have been cutting back on those. So, and to be honest, some of this Comicsgate stuff scares some people. I had it was a fully paid trip to, I forget which Hawaiian island it was really looking forward to it. Was going to go out with Amanda, and I never really found out what happened, but the guy just broke off communications with me. So it was a shame. It would have been a lot of fun. And if anybody listens to me long enough, they know I'm not evil. So yeah, there's a little bit of backlash with the personal, appearances. So that's also why some of that stuff is cut back a little bit. So we got James. Awesome. Thanks. Hope to see you on Pontificators. I think it will be around 6 Pacific Standard Time. So 5 or 6, but most likely 6. I may send out a tweet. So check my Twitter because I gotta go connect with everybody and see what time we're all available. So very good, you guys. Have a great Friday. Hope to see you all a little bit later for Pontificators. And go back Chrono Mechanics. It is live. We're about the halfway point. So we still have a long way to go to get those stretch goals for you guys. So thanks again, and have a good day.